Lucas and Alex. When we go on through our warm-up lap, I just want y'all to stay kind of close together so we can all just kind of try to replicate the specific lines that I want y'all to be taking through the track one last time. Understanding where we want to be getting to the inside of the corner, how we want to be braking, and that we built up that muscle memory for once we take everything at speed. Of course, when you are behind my instructor for those flying laps, feel free to get as close to me as you want. I'll speed up or slow down to match your pace, but that doesn't mean you need to be braking later to keep up with me. You're going to make up all your time on the exit of a corner if you can get that car pointed to the apex cone in a straight line more efficiently, making sure we don't have that early turn in. We're not progressive on that brake pedal. So let's get those cars into drive the manual mode. We'll start our last warm-up lap here on the track itself. So as I'm coming up the hill, of course scanning my braking cone, scanning my turning cone, as we've been talking about, but get those eyes to the right. You'll see that black tire barrier, that's where you want your vision once you get past this braking cone. You'll see the apex pop out from behind it. Now, as we get down to third gear, of course, let's make sure we turn the wheel a little slower initially. Balance that car towards the middle of the corner so when we get back to the curb or pointed at the apex, we give ourselves a straighter run off as we shift up to fourth. Now, with the near apex, of course, we want to leave a little bit of space as we allow that car to balance down the hill. Get it pointed more so to the second apex cone so we don't end up being behind on our steering. Now, at the fourth apex cone, let's make sure we brake in a straight line, as we should with all the corners. So getting down to third, from so, bringing the car out to the middle of the circuit as we move the head out to that driver's side window. We don't want to go too out to the edge where it is quite dirty. Again, getting to the curb just before the apex, shifting up to fourth before we go up the crest. And then same thing for turn 5, just making sure we brake in a straight line for the turning cone. More importantly, holding that brake pedal as we turn it. Keep that nose planted into the ground. That allows us to almost accelerate out to our turning cone. A quick tap on the brake as we get down to third. And of course, just making sure we're getting that visual scan done. Giving yourself the time to process these upcoming corners. Think about how your exit of this left-hander of turn 6 is going to lead you into the entry of turn 7. Alright fellas, so after this right-hander, let's start to roll onto it. Of course, if you're not behind my instructor car, please remember that car spacing. So just holding that brake pedal lightly through turn 1. Get the car pointed to the second apex cone. We're understanding our entry to turn 3. I don't want y'all getting to the inside curbing until just before we clip that apex. Wider arc on entry. Get more of your steering done in the middle of the corner. Braking in a straight line for our left-hander, getting down to third. Utilize that driver's side window. Bring that car back down to the curb. Great job getting that car pointed through the bowl there, Al. Think about holding that brake pedal through our entry of 5. Keep that nose to the ground. Keep those front tires compressed. Already starting to find our final apex in turn 5. Getting that nose pointed for a straighter run down towards the hill. Right there, Al, is we were just a little bit too late on the brakes. Let's make sure we stay a bit more firm as well as getting on them earlier, so the back end isn't so light, of course, when we release it. Don't worry about trying to keep up with my lead car. And of course, Lucas, don't worry about trying to keep up with the car ahead. Really liking that patience with the turn in for 3 right there, Al. Getting those eyes up, already starting to think about our entry towards our left-hander down the hill. out. Turn 5 looked really good last time out. Let's keep it up this time. I don't know how long my brake lights are on for when you're following my lead car out. So, even though we only need to brake lightly, you're out. Let's brake a bit earlier. Keep that foot light as you turn in. Gradual steering input. Much better that time. And also just making sure we don't have so many adjustments with the wheel in the middle of the corner. So let's try that here. Hold that brake lightly as we turn in. Keep it light past our apex cone. Balance the car towards our second apex. Give ourselves that straighter run up the hill. Very nice. Starting to be proactive now, thinking. Understand how you're going to get to your apex in turn 3. Using the flow width of the curve at that apex cone, so we just have that much more space to unwind out to all of us. Let's start slowing down here, Al. I still feel like you're braking a tiny bit late for turn 6, but otherwise the rest of the track looks really good. So, Al, if you want to pull over to the right here, you're going to slow down, let Lucas in the red car and Alex in the white car go by you on the left. And then once that red car and that white car goes by you here, Alex, you can fall back in line. So let's just make sure we're braking a little bit earlier for turn 6, that fast left-hander. Otherwise, the rest of the track looks really good for you, Al. Let's start rolling onto it, fellas. Good start. Vision to the right here, Lucas. Find your apex all the way around the corner. Moving ahead around the car. Now for our near apex in the S's here, ahead, use the strip of sealer on the road as a reference while placing that car. Just kind of straddling it. Don't forget about that car spacing as well here, Al. Braking early here for this left-hander. Hold that brake lightly as we turn in. Keep the nose in the ground as you do so. Very good. Good efficiency there, Lucas. Solid first lap. Let's be proactive now. Thinking now. Think about how you're set up for that left here. Second apex gun in turn 1. Going to give you a better run up the hill through 2. Near apex there, Lucas. Eyes up. Look out that driver's side window. Get yourself that run down towards this apex cone. It's going to pay off all the way up to turn 5. Let's make sure, everybody, we're still bouncing the car in between the release of the brake and the roll-on and accelerator, even if only very briefly. Allow yourself a transition here so that differential can open up for a tad, as Josh talked about in the classroom. Good improvement on that second lap there, Lucas. Let's continue for the third one. Be a bit more consistent on that brake input here. Definitely your best run yet through third one there, Lucas. Looking good back there as well, Alex and Al. The pace, fellas, once we come down towards turn 6. We're going to do our last rotation here. Of course, when you're no longer behind my instructor car, let's just make sure we don't get too complacent only being next to the apex column. Still want to be almost touching them. Lucas, you can stay in place as you wait for Alex's white car and Al's yellow car to go by you on the left. Last lap there looks really, really solid. I'm really happy with how you work rushing those braking zones. I'm sure that you saw that as a result, Lucas, how well you're able to keep up with me off corner exit. So if you want to fall back in line here, Lucas, and let's start those last 3 flying laps. So for your brake pressure input here, making sure that we get those flat tires actually on top of the curbing, right up the apex column itself. Turn that wheel more in the middle of the corner. Again, even if it's only very light, we still want to keep that brake pressure past that turn-in point to keep the nose to the ground. Increase that contact patch with the front tires as we do so. Momentum into turn 5 there, Alex. Great balance in turn 1 right there, Alex. Keep rocking that thing. Keep entering here in turn 3. Getting that run towards the apex cone. Now behind our conditionally. I feel like we're on the accelerator just the tiniest bit early, Alex, in turn 3. You're starting to rush your entry into the corner trying to keep up with the car ahead. I need you to not focus so hard on keeping up with the car ahead. Let's make sure next time in turn 3 that you have a high initial impact on the brake pressure at that braking cone. Try not to roll onto it. We're going to go off if not. We're almost done with the session. But don't want to end with an off. You're really slow so far, Alex. Exactly what I want to see from you. Keep up the good work. Get firm brake pressure. So good recovery right there, Alex. You were just a bit too quick with the release of the brake pressure there. Let's try to stay a bit more firm on it past the turning cone next time. Now let's make sure we're firm on the brake pressure here at the braking cone, alright? Get those eyes to the apex cone. I want you to back it down a bit. Still a tad a bit wide at that apex going right there, Alex. Again, try to overemphasize that balance beard for longer. Down here. We're going to get out of the green, but we're not going to do cool down just yet. We have a bit of extra time, so I'm going to give everybody an extra lap behind me, alright? So Alex, if you want to pull over to the right, let Al and Lucas go by you here on the left. And then, like I mentioned, everybody will do just one more lap behind me apiece. So you can fall back in line. Let's start rolling onto it again. Right back to yourself. So firm brake pressure, get that eyesight out to the right. Think about your approach into the turn 3, firm braking zone. Really good in turn 3 right there, Al. Just let on, see. Out of 7 there, Al. Very smooth that driving. Good way to finish it off. You'll let Lucas's red car and Alex's white car go by you on the left, and then you can fall back in line after that white car goes by. Again, try not to keep up with the cars ahead here once you fall to the back of the line, Al. Because that driving when you're behind my instructor car looks really good. Right back to it, fellas. Down here, Lucas. Very nice on those laps. You're going to pull on over to the right. You're going to let Alex's white car and Al's yellow car go by you on the lap. Very solid momentum up the hill, especially right there. Lucas looked really good. Alright, right back to it. Final flying lap here. Ended on a good note, everybody. corner. We're going to be in that cool down lap here. Nice way to finish off in that session, as I already mentioned, of course. Very good job on those times. That was definitely some of the best driving that y'all have performed throughout the entire school. Even if the lap times weren't necessarily better, the smoothness and the actual understanding of the flow of the track definitely looked a lot better than the previous two sessions in terms of not turning in too early, setting up for that controlled exit. Of course, there were little moments in between, but it definitely looked the most well put together laps. So kind of just enjoy the track here, taking the scenery. We'll be exiting at the end of this time around the circuit. And hey, no deductibles used. That's all we can really ask for. Of course, always fun having some quick drivers behind me. And if you look over to the left, you can see a bit of a dirt cloud. It looks like a driver on one of the other tracks actually went off. And overall, it's been a pleasure having y'all here across the last 2 days. Of course, once we head on inside to the classroom, we're going to be going for our graduation. Of course, we'll find out who the autocross winner was at that time. And once we come through these last two corners, we'll be exiting the track this time. Of course, just make sure the brakes, the fluids, all the other components in the vehicle still have some air flowing through them, allow them to cool down. We don't want them sitting super hot as they sit in the pit. So we'll flick on that left turn signal here as we exit the track. So once we park those cars back in the pit area, I'm just going to ask everybody to please leave the vehicles running when you hop on out, because we're going to have to go move these cars off to a different section of the property so the mechanics can go service them. So while yes, I do want you to leave the cars running, feel free to hit stop recording on your PDR. And of course, we're going to want to grab our SD card from the passenger glove box. Has all our videos, of course, from the last 2 days. That is for you to keep. And then when we go inside, we're going to, of course, take off our equipment. We're going to put it on the back counter next to the couches. And then from there, we can head inside the classroom itself. All right, so make sure you hit stop recording before you pop out an SD card. Hop on out. Been a pleasure, fellas.